episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 9, Episode 23.
Or Episode 213 if you're counting.
Thank you so much for being here again on kind of weird timing today. Our background's kind of, what's going on with the blue in the background?
I don't know, everything shifted.
I don't know, but we're still here, regardless of wherever.
Screw it, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live, it's fine. How's it going, Josh?
It's going well, I'm tired.
I understand.
Long weeks.
Long weeks. I know. The weeks feel longer and longer. We're finally, it's warm, it's May.
But it's been really cold at night, though. Like, it warms up pretty good during the day. A lot of people saying, oh, this is beach weather.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I'm tempted to finally go down there and actually get in there. Because last year we didn't have a lot of time to go to the beach. Mm-hmm. This time I want to go to the beach.
Sure. I think everybody should go to the beach at least once, especially if you're living out here in Southern California. There's no reason not to go and visit the beach. We did a little bit of visiting the beach the last summer.
What is that? The one pier with this Ferris wheel?
Santa Monica Pier, yeah.
That's a nice pier.
Yeah, Santa Monica's nice. I love Santa Monica. How's it going, guys? I'm so glad to see some of you back in here that we kind of haven't seen for a while. Yeah, it was colder out here than usual for a longer period of time.
Yeah, weather has been weird the first part of the year. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that is, but you know what? We'll get over it. I don't miss the Texas heat. I miss many things about Texas. The heat and the humidity and the allergens are not any of them.
No, of course not.
By any stretch of the imagination.
No. So I'm glad that we're out here instead of Texas, because if it was Texas right now, the pollen would just be, just knock you out.
I'd be dead. I'd have Benadryl hooked up by an IV, and I would just be perpetually in a coma.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible.
You remember I took a photo of my old car sitting underneath the trees in Texas, and it was just coated in yellow, sticky pollen. It was just disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. I remember Nash had a colorful way of phrasing that when he saw it.
Yes.
About, let's just say, the way that flowers like to
procreate.
Yeah, it was kind of disgusting, but it was also not inaccurate. So
It's not really.
Yeah.
So since the last time we've been on here, you actually had the opportunity to do your little training thing.
I did. I totally went and did 1 day of wrestling training. Just one singular day, and it wasn't like really wrestling. It was like we didn't contact anybody. We didn't have contact with any other individual. There was a lot of running, a lot of squats, a lot of sit-ups.
You didn't grapple with anybody?
No, never like touched another person. But there were a lot of rolls, front rolls, back rolls, the one arm over the one shoulder roll.
Just kind of going over the basics.
And then starting to learn how to take the drops. Just start dropping by, first you start by lying down on the ground and just dropping from the waist down, and then you grab onto the ropes, and then you drop from the ropes, and then you grab onto the ropes, drop from the ropes, and lift your feet up, and then if you felt good enough about it, just go into the middle of the ring and just drop.
Right.
Make sure you got your arms out, make sure that your head's tucked so that you're not slamming the back of your head into the mat. And then also running the ropes, that was kind of fun, and then also cutting a promo. So those were the only things that we did.
So the thing I'm wondering, and everybody else is wondering, when are you debuting on NXT?
I'm never debuting on NXT. It is never gonna happen. But
So you're signing up with All Elite, is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is I'm not sorry that I tried it. I think it was really a really fun thing to do, and if you're in... really, they take anybody in any sort of shape, really. Makes it harder for you to keep up with running if you're not in great shape, but it was super, super fun. If I had more time and more money, I might actually put in that time and effort to try and do more of it, because it kept my mind off of other stuff. Hey, I appreciate the cheer. Super thank you so much, Project Pikachu 1.
Now, the thing about it is, I like this concept of Lucha Mars.
Lucha Mars? I'm going to tilt the camera just a little bitty, but I don't know. I don't know if I could Lucha.
Did you not want him to wear a mask? Is that what it is? You want people to see?
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what my character would be. If I had a character, I don't know what I would be. I don't know anything about it. All I know is that I'm glad that I tried, What?
Well, that's the important thing, is that you did something that most people don't bother doing, or thinking like, oh, that's not for me, I couldn't keep up. But you did it. I'm proud of you. That's good.
Yeah, it was super fun. I think anybody who gets the opportunity and has just a little bit of cash to throw at it wouldn't be such a bad idea just to try, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what you did last week.
What have you been doing, Josh?
I have been oogling this beauty over here, if I can even pick it up.
Oh my god.
It's so... So, some of you knew that this was available. This giant mofo right here.
The GVN, thank you for the cheer. Appreciate it.
The Complete Selection Modification Arkle, the Kuga transformation belt, finally came in for me. I pre-ordered this thing as soon as it was available, months and months ago. It is a monster, and it fits.
It fits. That's
I love
the
it so
part.
much. This is my first Complete Selection modification that I've ever owned of anything, because I know they've been coming out with all these different things. The Blade one they just announced, the Fies, Kabuto, all of those. So it's really cool that I get to get one of these. If I ever get another one, I would probably get, if they ever announce it, and I imagine they will at this point, an Agito belt.
Ooh, yeah,
because those are the ones that you can't mod those. They were either for kids or nobody.
Okay. Yeah, they would have to make an adult version then, because if an adult tried to wear that thing, it'd be
it just wouldn't happen.
There
was a
toy
time
around your waist.
There was a time 10 plus years ago where I could in fact get that thing around my waist.
Thank you for the host, John.
But that was my early 20s, and we are past that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since then.
A lot of time has passed.
About
so
10
I
years
love
time.
it. I don't really do... I don't do toy reviews, but I would dare say this thing is worth it for the price tag.
I understand.
That if you're paying that much to get it, you're going to want to talk about it. So I'm debating whether or not to go ahead and show people, hey, this is what this can do. Because I know a lot of other people have done it, but from my perspective, I might have a thing or two different to say about it.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I think some other folks would be interested in seeing it too. You've done another belt video in the past. You've promised another belt video in the future.
I just need to get another leather belt, and yeah, I've got all the stuff
You could
otherwise
do it.
I've got the stuff I need for it.
You could totally do it. I think you should.
So yeah, that's definitely very happy to have that. And the bank account cries.
The bank account does.
Well, as it would with any CSM purchase.
I mean, granted, like you said, that was months ago.
Yeah, I had to put something aside for that.
Yeah.
So, it's worth it, though. It's absolutely worth what you paid to get it.
Yeah.
So, big ups to anybody else who got it.
Even the packaging alone was kind
of
They
put so much thought into the packaging, too.
Yeah, maybe during our post-show Q&A, we'll kind of go through some of that.
Because it's kind of a hassle to get out of that box.
Similarly, I'll show off during post-show. I put together a couple of Gunpla.
Gunpla Day yesterday, Gunpla Saturday.
Gunpla Day with friends yesterday. That was super good. I put together two little things, not really that big of a deal, but, you know, they're fun. I'm glad I did them. I had recently done captions for Gundam Build Divers, and so I was really attached to Gundam Build Divers, so I got a whole bunch of Build Divers Gunpla. Worked on that yesterday. I'll show them off a little bit later.
But enough holding off. We actually have a show for you guys tonight.
An actual show, yeah.
An actual show. So let's go ahead and get into it. Our first story for the evening. We hate it when we have to start off the show with a dear departure, but just this week, unfortunately, Peter Mayhew passed away.
Who played, of course,
Chewbacca
in almost all of the Star Wars films up until the last couple of ones.
Where he was starting to hand over the role to the new actor.
So we're going to be talking about the legacy he left behind, how that kind of affected yesterday having been May the 4th,
of course,
Star Wars Day. A lot of stuff to talk about there. After we talk about that story, we're going to be moving into Sonic the Hedgehog.
You called it.
Of which, yeah, Billy over here called it. Of which, man, there's a lot to talk about because that's a scary trailer that they dropped.
Because it's the trailer,
and Paramount knows it was a scary trailer.
And the response.
So, yeah, there's a trailer and then a fan response and then Paramount's response to the fans. Ooh, there's a lot to talk about there. We can't be talking about it all up front.
And then finally, we will do our best to be as tactful as possible because we understand the directors have said that the official, as far as they're concerned, end to spoiler cap is tomorrow. but we have to at least talk about the massive box office that has been the result of Avengers Endgame.
Absolutely.
Just blowing numbers out of the water left and right. People knew it was going to be big. We were theorizing how big. We didn't know it would be this big.
Right.
Like half of this big, I got to, and then we're going further.
Yeah. And then we need to talk about, like, what happens after this.
Yeah, where do we go from there? What does it do for movies?
Is there even life after this?
Yes.
Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Maybe life is over. That having been said, before we get to those major news stories, let's talk about some other smaller things, some of our follow-ups. Josh, I know you got a few.
Yes.
Thank you for putting in some good work and finding these things before the show got started.
So we're going to start off with my favorite one that I like to start off with in the DC news. No more Gotham! It's over!
It is?
Yes!
Oh, thank God.
The evil has been defeated. So yeah, it's over. We're never going to talk about it again. That's it. Okay.
Thank you for the cheer, Tony. I really appreciate you being here, too. I meant to get back
It looks
to
like
you.
It's going into your head.
It does, right?
No, keep it where it was.
Oh, okay.
You were fine where you were. It was entering your head.
Just entering my brain. Yeah, now it's just lock it in here. Lock these words in there. I meant to message you earlier, by the way, so thank you for the cheer, man.
Okay, but let's get to some actual Batman news. So we've got an update on The Batman, this new Batman movie that Warner Brothers wants to move forward with. Unfortunately, it's news about a delay. So we're hearing now that due to some script changes, that's actually going to push back the start date from what should have been the end of 2019 to early 2020.
I mean, that's not too bad, but...
In the grand scheme of things, but think about how many times they've had to push this thing back.
That part is concerning, absolutely.
Because you can only go so far before people start comparing it to the development hell of the Flash movie, solo Flash movie.
Is it even in existence anymore?
That's kind of what we're having to question here, because we hear that Matt Reeves is working on it, that they've got a script, that they've got a direction they want to go in. That's fine, but how long are you going to keep delaying this stuff?
Sure, yeah.
You can only do it for so long. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some other news here. Going straight over to the Marvel news. So, speaking of 2020, it seems that next year we will see a start date for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
All right, great.
And a lot of that looks to be very promising based off some things that happened in Endgame. Mm-hmm. Won't go into specifics, but it looks like...
Beta Ray Bill!
But that we can talk about. They are saying that Beta Ray Bill, your favorite Marvel character, will debut.
I don't know if I'd say he's my favorite Marvel
I don't know. You talk about Beta Ray Bill a lot.
I do talk about Beta Ray Bill a lot.
Because we have Stormbreaker now.
He's not... Yeah, we have Stormbreaker, and he's not just a statue in the background somewhere.
Yeah. Like, he had that little cameo there in Ragnarok, which means...
I thought that was all we were gonna get. I thought it was like, oh, they made a nod to Beta Ray Bill. Okay, that's cool. And
then just today we hear Beta Ray Bill's coming.
Yeah, he's coming. Oh, he about to do.
He about to do it.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Okay, over on the Hulu end of things, so we've been wondering how certain series were going to survive after all of the pull from Netflix and, of course, the merger with Fox. So one of the things that Marvel has announced is a Ghost Rider series for Hulu, and this is actually going to be a continuation of the Robbie Reyes character that debuted over on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Mm-hmm. He will be getting a full series. No word on the start date yet, but Diego Luna will be back as Robbie Reyes.
Is there any sign of slowing down for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I mean, we've got the Season 6 trailer that just came out.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's okay. Was it Gabriel Luna or Diego Luna?
Yeah, you better clarify that.
I always get the two mixed up, because one's Star Wars and the other one isn't. But it is that same character and that same actor from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Now, we do have Season 6 coming up. I do want to say this is actually going to be the last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So they're wrapping up.
Okay, good. I think it's been enough time.
I would agree. So, we've got that to look forward to. If you guys, I actually really liked those episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when they added Ghost Rider in.
Okay,
and of course, they grandfather in Johnny Blaze, too, so I'm fine. Gabriel Luna, thank you for the clarification there. Okay, moving over to some Star Trek news. Quentin Tarantino says he's got his script ready, and there's still a very strong possibility that we will see his version of a Star Trek movie hit film.
No kidding.
Yeah. And now they are saying it would be a hard R movie.
Hard R Star Trek.
Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I'm not totally adverse to the idea, but it's going to be weird.
Well, because one of the things that people are wondering is, which cast is he going to use? Would he still use the reboot cast? Would he get all new people?
I think it would be appropriate to do all new people.
I think it would be fine if he used some of his regulars to do that.
Sure.
Now, that having been said, if he did it with the reboot people, I would still actually be pretty cool with that. Because it would be hilarious to see them do
just see Bones just swear.
No, just see Bones cuss like you want him to.
Like, you know he wants to.
Like, let Carl Urban do it.
Yeah.
He would be so good at it. He would just go off 5 minutes straight for how stupid he thinks Kirk is. Mm-hmm. Like, all of the venereal diseases he could be getting on any given planet.
Right.
And you know he would write that, and you know it would be amazing.
But I can't picture anybody else. I don't know who else I could picture.
Like, even if you recast everybody, Carl Urban still has to be Bones.
Yeah, maybe he can do it still. He's allowed, I think. So long as he doesn't play Black Hat. I mean,
we're never coming back to Black Hat. That died. It's never happening again.
Priest. No one watched Priest. That's
and don't
fine.
Watch
Don't
Priest.
watch Priest.
Don't watch Priest.
Don't watch Priest.
Okay, moving on to some other news here. Also, speaking of stuff, Star Trek, of course, is they've got Discovery there on the CBS Access app. Over there, you can also watch Twilight Zone. They have, in fact, been picked up for season 2.
All right, good.
So that's going really strong right now. I know a lot of people are loving these episodes.
That must also mean that there's enough people getting CBS Access for it to matter.
I'll eat my words on that. People are doing it. Mm-hmm. People are watching and tuning in and signing on for it. So, okay, yeah, CBS, you showed me.
For sure.
I have been proven wrong on that. Moving on to some other news. Of course, we talked to you guys about the Alien stage play, of which there was an encore performance just about 2 weeks ago. That is available online now.
Okay, great.
So if you guys want, just go over to YouTube, type in Alien High School Play. You'll find it there on YouTube. It's about an hour and a half. Sigourney Weaver actually showed up to do a forward there for the audience.
Oh, that's super cool.
I saw it myself. It's really good.
You didn't tell me that, one, it went up on YouTube, and 2, you didn't share it with me. You didn't sit down with me.
I'll watch it again. Okay. It is so good.
I'm offended. All right. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
I've got to move on angry at you for the rest of the show.
You're allowed to do that.
All right.
All right, over in some interesting news here. So, of course, later on tonight, we're going to be talking about a beloved children's franchise that's getting turned into a movie and why. So we have word that director David Bowers, who worked on that Nicolas Cage voiced Astro Boy movie, and that claymation movie Flushed Away, he has been tapped to direct the live-action CG hybrid Rugrats. Not Disney, Nickelodeon Rugrats.
Wait, why is it hybrid with CG at all?
I don't know.
They're just babies.
I don't know.
Why is it a hybrid? Like, I can only understand if Reptar, maybe, is like a real thing that really shows up. Why is it... Josh!
I don't know.
Josh, why is it a hybrid?
I don't make the news, I just bring it to you, and then you do this. Like, it's a thing. Nickelodeon wants to do it.
No, they just need to either make it CG or make it people, because they're babies. They're babies. Babies are people.
It's so weird watching every's reaction.
Look at this chat right now.
Like, bring it up. Go ahead and bring it.
You want me to bring it
back?
Yeah,
because I want to see everybody freaking out right now.
Well, it's not gonna load. It's
okay, well, either way, it's so good to watch this right now. Like, I didn't make this happen.
But you know what? I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna let the chat box load in and see what happens.
So that's the thing. We got to be on the lookout for that now. We got 2 movies to worry about. We got Sonic later tonight, and then whatever they end up doing with Rugrats. That's a thing.
That's terrifying.
Okay, moving on to some game news here. So over with Overwatch, of course, we just got, we're well into this most recent Storm Rising event. Now the head writer there for Overwatch, Michael Chu, is saying now they're reaching the end of an arc of this whole last 2 going into 3 years of Overwatch, that they're done with all the setup, and now they're ready to start going into a new era where they actually deal with, well, what happens when Overwatch gets back together?
Sure.
Because people have been saying, hey, you know the thing we want? More story? Where is it? Because, we want to do solo campaigns. We want to do more stuff that actually makes us feel like we're getting something out of the game. And that's the thing. Everybody's reaction has been, wait, Overwatch has a story?
I mean, you have to be really deep into Overwatch to know that Overwatch has a story. But because otherwise you're not playing story campaigns. You only get story maps and events
once a year
during event times. It's kind of like, I remember when they originally were working on Overwatch, they were saying, we got this new franchise that we want to do, and it's gonna have its own new in-depth narrative, blah blah blah. and it's like not in the game.
Yeah.
It's not actually in the game.
Which is what people
really
are complaining about. So hopefully we'll be getting to see more of this, because personally, like, I'm wearing the shirt right now. I'm wearing my Reaper shirt. I want this. So hopefully they'll bring this out. Maybe for anniversary we'll start seeing some of that, because we're coming up on the 3rd anniversary. I would really love to see that, and I agree with you, John. I would love to see an Overwatch movie. Okay, so let's move on to some other news here. So this is nice. So we just got into the new Reiwa era there in Japan, and of course a lot of people.
New emperor just took the throne. Old emperor stepped down. His son stepped up. So,
on May 1st.
On May 1st. So yeah, we're in a brand new era. It's important to note in Japan that they use a traditional. Our traditional Western calendar, but also, like, their entire culture is framed around a calendar set by when their emperor takes the throne. That it's very important to know.
Now, that having been said, a lot of people wanted to celebrate the passing of an era, which was, of course, the Heisei era, and one of the people that did that was the cast of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. That's the live-action series that we had several years ago. I think that was 2004.
It's a Tokusatsu series. It's also done by Toei. Mind you, Toei animated the original anime and the Crystal. They also animated Crystal.
So let's go ahead and take a look at how the Sailor Scouts look now. They look great.
Yeah.
Like, that's all of them there.
They look almost the same.
Yeah, almost the same, just a little bit of variance. Up at the top in the middle, that's Mars. Let me see if I can get this. That's Moon,
right
Mercury, Jupiter's on the far end, and then Venus is over here. So nice to see all the girls getting together. They still very much hang out a lot. They go to each other's life activities, weddings, things like that.
Sure.
I think, if I remember correctly from the last wedding one of them had, they got together to sing the opening theme together.
Oh, that's great.
So it's nice that they're all still very much friends and getting along like that, and I agree. I also had a very big crush on Keiko Kitagawa. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I went to the Bahamas there for a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to some more Tokusatsu news here. So we've got some updates for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Just recently we had an update with a free patch, so everybody who has the game gets this, which is a story update for the game, which revolves, of course, around this most recent thing in the comics of introducing Lord Draken and Tommy dying. Spoilers, everybody knows about it by this point. It's been a year.
Well, how many times has Tommy died, too? Like...
The once.
Just the once?
So we have a picture of it here. They did get Kyle Higgins to come back and write for it, since he wrote all of that here, for Shattered Grid. There is voice acting now, and they've gotten back Jason David Frank, David Fielding, Austin St. John to come back and voice for the game. So that's nice that they've got that inclusion there for those characters. Now, along those lines, going into my next bit of news here, so it has been announced that Austin St. John will be reprising the role of Jason, not just in the game, but in this next season of Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. So, what does that mean? What part of Super Sentai have they brought over?
So, there was a crossover movie between the Go Busters and the Kyoryugers, and in that crossover, it was very skewed
bunch of dinosaurs
to all the dinosaur Sentai come back, and all the leads in that crossover came back. Geki came back, and then I forget Abared's actor. They came back, and then in voice only, the rest of the actors came back, and they had this giant 3 dinosaur team up there on the field, and it's amazing to see. So it sounds like they're going to be adapting that for Beast Morphers.
That's really fascinating that they actually licensed a movie. They licensed not.
Well,
just
I mean, they've
TV
got the
series,
rights
but,
to it.
Yeah.
Hasbro can do what they want with that footage.
I'm glad they're actually using it. Is exactly what I'm saying. They're not just relying on just the TV footage.
Right. So hopefully, Austin's been the first person announced. We're waiting to see if anybody else is going to sign on for this, because the way it worked in that movie was they did get all of the other G-Rangers back, but in voice only. So you heard Reiko Chiba, but you didn't get to see her.
Sure.
Which is fine. So long as I hear them, I'm like, okay, it's them. That's fine. They just needed to get the leader back. So if they get the leaders back for both of those along with that, and then, of course, we hear that Brendan Mejia is coming back as well from Dino Charge, this could be amazing.
Yeah, it could be.
This could be the anniversary we actually wanted.
Wanted and deserved, and we were owed a better anniversary than what we got, yeah.
Now, speaking of Sentai actors, let's go ahead and move over to this next bit of news. For this year's Japan World Heroes, they've announced their first Super Sentai alumnus, which is going to be Ryuji Sanhei. Deca Red will be making his way out to Japan World Heroes. That's this August out in California.
Very cool.
You guys get
Here
that
in
together.
Pasadena, yeah.
So you guys come on out, check that out. We got another Sentai actor over here. That's amazing. I know last year we got a bunch of people coming out from Die Ranger, some suit actors as well for Power Morphicon. So it'll be great to see a lot of other actors coming over here. I really hope there's more coming.
Very exciting, yeah.
Yes. And moving on to some other news here, we've got a better picture. I know we talked about it before, but now we actually have a picture of the transformation device for Ultraman Taiga. This is called the Taiga Spark. If you ask me, it looks a lot like a Geki changer from Geki Ranger. It does, because
it's a wrist brace kind of.
It's a wrist brace.
Yeah.
Now, from what we're seeing, the little keychain devices, you're just going to hold up to it, and that will determine which Ultraman you transform into. Mm-hmm. But I like it. It's nice. It's compact. It's not overly flashy. It's not this giant bop it thing.
Hey, don't punch me in the face.
I'm not trying to, you know what I mean. From Ultraman Rube. I think I might get it.
I mean, it looks okay. It doesn't look that flashy or entertaining to me.
I know, but it's clean. That's what I like about it. It does
look very clean. I absolutely agree. You're right.
It's not nearly as toyetic. And then,
no, it's a toy.
I mean, it doesn't scream toy at me the way the Rube Gyro did.
I guess. I mean, it still looks like a toy to me.
And then the last thing we'll go ahead and bring up is for this next arc here in Kamen Rider Geo, we've got some returning actors. So we just finished with the Hibiki arc, and Kenji Matsuda, who was Zanki in Kamen Rider Hibiki, did not show up there. That's because he's going to show up in the Kiva arc, where he also had a different role there as Garuru. So he'll be reprising that role for the next 2 episodes there in Kamen Rider Geo. Great to see him back. Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem to age at all. Like, he looks perpetually 35. He's never gotten older than that.
I mean, I think he looks older, but
I don't see it. He looks good.
Yeah, he looks good. I just don't think he looks young.
If Hiroshi Miyauchi...
What?
Well, that's V3. If Hiroshi Fujioka ever came back again, I don't think they ever would, because, you know, with that Ichigo movie, they kind of treated it like that was it.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. That was such a send-off for him, and it was very good.
It is the best thing in Ghost.
Yeah.
Hands down. Now, Hiroshi Miyauchi, he did show up in the V3 costume for that Tokusatsu Gagaga series, so maybe we'd see him back sooner. At least get another older writer back.
I would expect that would be more possible, yes.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for all our follow-ups. Let's go ahead and get into our first story for the evening.
I wish I could say that it was better. We're to be talking about Peter Mayhew. Granted, just yesterday was May the 4th, so
this is just a few days before.
So this is an especially heartbreaking time, very specifically, as if it wasn't for Star Wars fans going to be heartbreaking anyway, but, like, the timing was just like, oh, that's just extra on top of how painful it is to go through. Just a couple of days later, you've lost one of the most iconic characters within the entire Star Wars franchise, you know, introduced the ideas of the Wookiees just by putting on this suit. He just did a great job of just being Han Solo's best friend in all of these films.
And you never questioned it. You never questioned that they had a bond together.
Never mind the fact that he didn't speak English. Well, it's funny, though, like you brought up footage the other day.
Yeah, it's on Twitter now, so you can go look this up. When they were on set, Peter Mayhew would speak his lines to Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford knew what he was saying.
But yeah, because you need, like, a real thing to interact with. You don't just, like... I think it makes a lot more sense than just hearing screams at you and you're supposed to respond to that like you actually understand what's going on. I think that was the smart direction.
Right.
To let him actually say the lines that Harrison Ford is supposed to be responding to.
Did he play Chewie he did do it for the prequels.
He did it for the prequels. He did a little bit for Force Awakens, and that's where he started to kind of pass the baton to what is the name of
Jonas Suotomo.
Suotomo, yeah. Also an incredibly tall actor. We just saw that guy cross the stage during Star Wars Celebration.
And he couldn't speak more highly of Peter tutoring him in how to play Chewie. And that was just before this.
You remember when we were still living in Texas, it felt like Peter Mayhew was at like every single event in Texas.
And that was the thing I saw Nash saying about his passing when it happened. You're going to see a lot of people posting their pictures with him because he made himself so accessible. It wasn't like this sort of Leonard Nimoy thing of, I'm not Chewie. No, he embraced it from the jump. Like, he loved how much people loved him as Chewie.
Yeah, and like I was saying, we just saw him all the... I was always like, oh, well, Peter Mayhew's here, I guess it's a con. You know, like, that was the standard.
And that's the thing, like, we took it for granted.
We kind of did take it for granted, I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh, he's got his table. Again, it means the con is just the same as every con ever, because there's Peter Mayhew. But, yeah, like, he would just roll into town like it was nothing, and like... I get the feeling that he loved it as much as everybody else did.
Oh, absolutely. You know? And of course, we're seeing all of the tributes now coming up from the actors who worked alongside him. We've already got Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford both respectively paying tribute to him. I'll go ahead and pull up one from George Lucas actually right here. Peter was a wonderful man. He was the closest any human being could be to a Wookiee. Big heart, gentle nature, and I learned to always let him win. He was a good friend, and I'm saddened by his passing.
I bet, yeah.
Because you think about it, like, with the exception of, I think, like, Lurch in Addams Family, there's not a lot of roles for really tall people.
No, there's really not, because you figure, especially for on-camera roles, this is maybe less true for theatrical roles, like stage productions, but on-screen roles, they're always thinking about what looks good on a frame. They're always thinking about that. So a role like this
only comes up so often.
Yeah. Do we know if Peter Mayhew had like other theatrical training, like stage training? Like, that's just a thing that I'm not fully aware of.
I can't say that I am as well.
I'm sure that information's out there, but part of me would be kind of sad to be pigeonholed into like just this one thing, but then when that one thing is something you're so well known for and it's because people love you,
and there's just all this joy around it, because that's the thing, like, people get so happy for Chewie. Like you remember when we saw The Force Awakens, one of the first things we thought after, Han gets 86'd is, how's Chewie gonna take it?
Yeah, I was much more worried about Chewie than I was almost any other character in that film. Yeah. Absolutely.
And Leia.
Yeah, sure, Leia, but like they also had been separated for a while. But but Chewie had been with him the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'll go ahead and move on here to Harrison Ford's tribute. Peter Mayhew was a kind and gentle man, possessed of great dignity and noble character. These aspects of his own personality, plus wit and grace, he brought to Chewbacca. We were partners in film and friends in life for over 30 years, and I loved him. He invested his soul in the character and brought great pleasure to the Star Wars audience. Chewbacca was an important part of the success of the films we made together. He knew how important the fans of the franchise were to its continued success, and he was devoted to them. I and millions of others will never forget Peter and what he gave us all. My thoughts are with his dear wife Angie and his children. Rest easy, my dear friend.
Super sad. Super, super sad. I think he knew exactly how much people cared about him, and I never heard anybody say anything bad ever about Peter Mayhew.
No, not a single time.
Never heard that before. And it seems like as time goes on, and as entertainment goes on, and as our world seems to get smaller and smaller through media, you start to hear less and less about people who just didn't do anything to offend anybody.
But the thing about it is, he was a class act. Like, every time I saw him in any of the local conventions we saw, he always made time for everybody. He was always, kind enough to, if somebody wanted to, like, can you pick, like a little kid, can you pick me up? He'd do it. Like, he was just that guy. As warm and approachable as you think he is, because of this character he played, covered in yak hair for hours and hours on end. If it was me, that had made me miserable. Because...
I'm sure that there had to have been times he was miserable. He couldn't have been happy the whole time in that suit, especially not out, like, in desert areas, on sets just with lights beating down on you. That sounds absolutely miserable. But at the same time, I think the reward, absolutely, there was great payoff in the end.
And I'll go ahead and move on to the last one I've got here, which is, of course, Mark Hamill's tribute. This is from his Twitter. From Mark Hamill's Twitter. He was the gentlest of giants, a big man with an even bigger heart who never failed to make me smile, and a loyal friend who I loved dearly. I'm grateful for the memories we shared, and I'm a better man for just having known him. Thanks, Pete.
It's just as simple as it needs to be, you know?
And of course he shares several pictures with him there from the set and from different functions. So it's great knowing that the cast, even after all this time, you know, they still had this love and respect and admiration for one another.
You can tell while events happen, as people kind of come and go, you can see how much Star Wars generated a family, you know, out of that cast and that crew. I don't think anybody hates anybody, and if they do, they sure are keeping it to themselves, which maybe is for the best.
No, if anybody hated anything, they were vocal about it, and specifically that was Carrie voicing anytime she had a problem with anybody.
Yeah, that's
But that was
true.
Carrie.
But then even so, I even feel like Carrie Fisher, like, kind of got out the words she needed to get out, and then she moved on with her life, you know?
Yeah, which is what we loved about her.
Yeah, so, like, man, what a sad time to be living in, that now, like, we're seeing our heroes age right before our eyes, and just people that we've just, like we said earlier, we kind of took Peter Mayhew's existence at conventions for granted. I feel like we've taken that for granted, possibly for that whole cast, you know?
Well, yeah, because it's the thing of it, like, it's already going to be sad enough to see this last footage that we have of Carrie Fisher going into The Rise of Skywalker, and now we got to look at Chewie knowing that, like, there's still somebody in there who's been signed off on, and he's been playing Chewie for 3 movies now, going into 4, but it's like half of him's not there, so to speak. Yeah. So that's going to be a little difficult to see there.
I mean, did Peter Mayhew not spend any time in the suit for Episode 8?
I want to say that was...
Because
that was when he fully signed it over.
So Episode 7, he was still sitting, like, in cockpit shots.
He was still sitting in the cockpit, and I think he did 1 or 2 standing shots when he's just there in the hallway with Han. But other than that, anytime he was running, that was Jonas.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we've got... One, it's good that we have somebody carrying on the legacy, and for some people, they won't know the difference. You know, for maybe a younger audience, but for a lot of us who grew up with these movies, we know.
Yeah.
And so we got to carry that one on into The Rise of Skywalker, and I guess it might be okay that this is the end of a chapter here. The end
I'm
of an
sure
era.
they're going to give him an in-memory sort of...
Oh, absolutely. They've got time to put that in.
Oh, yeah.
Since they already finished, they're in post, so we'll definitely see something about that.
So, again, that having been said, and we've said something similar to this every time we've talked about a famous person who has passed away. We are absolutely grateful. Like, we might be sad right now, but we're grateful that they gave this gift of themselves and their work to the world for all of us to enjoy, to fall in love with, to share with other people, to build relationships with other people over a shared love of this given thing, this given person, this given character that they gave life to. And so in that sense, he's not really gone because Chewie still gets to go on.
Yeah.
Thank God, so long as they don't go with what they wrote in that book once, that Chewie gets hit by a moon.
Yeah, that's not going to happen now.
They're not going to do it. There's no way they're going to do it. Chewie still lives, and because Chewie still lives, so does the memory of Peter Mayhew.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Peter Mayhew. You will be missed. Punch it, Chewie. All right. So, we're going to try and lighten the mood up a little bit.
It's a little hard. It's always hard to do
It's always hard to do this. So we're going to take a second. We're going to breathe. So this Sonic crap. Let's get into that.
Oh, man.
So there was a Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. We'd been waiting for it. We heard it was coming. Mind you, we had already been spoiled with what Sonic looked like.
Yeah, there were already leaks. There were already posters. We were already like, oh no, this is not good.
We have a problem here.
Then somebody leaked out guys, I saw the trailer, it's not good. And we're like, come on, that can't be real. What this person saw, no way that's real.
There's no way it's real. And then
it was real.
And then it was real,
and then
which we're gonna bring to you guys right now.
So yeah, the audio's muted. Okay, great. You don't need to hear anything. Although the only thing you need to know is that what's playing now is Gangsta's Paradise
by Coolio.
And why?
Now I will give Paramount that the rings over the logo, that was smart.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah, but if I were Sega, I would be very miffed that this is what is attached to my name. Like the second Sonic gets on screen and then
his first words,
he's saying, gotta go
fast.
Because he decides he needs that Sonic X representation and to be a meme. And I don't think Sonic himself ever said gotta go fast. I'm pretty sure that's just
the theme song.
The theme song from Foxbox's.
Now, the saving grace that everybody agrees on just showed up right here. Jim Carrey as Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, however you want to refer to him.
I think they're going with Eggman. I think they said they can't use, like, Sega did not want them using Robotnik for whatever reason.
See, I thought it was the other way around, that they wouldn't let them use Eggman.
No, they prefer Eggman at this point. Sega far prefers Eggman at this point.
So we see him playing opposite M. Bison over there. Not good M. Bison.
No.
This is your favorite part, because the most logical reaction to seeing that Sonic
is screaming and then shooting him. Yeah, that made total sense to me. I understood it 100%. That Jim Carrey, I felt like, I'm excited to see Jim Carrey just being Jim Carrey. I just wish it wasn't in this. That's the only thing. I wish it wasn't this.
Now, I know some people, specifically Kenny Omega of all people, looks at this trailer and he's like, look, you guys might not be ready, but I think we're going to get a Raul Julia-esque performance out of Jim Carrey like we got out of him in the Street Fighter movie. Like, he will make this movie what you rewatch. I'm there for that. I will go see it based on that, because this seems to be vintage Jim Carrey.
It does. For whatever reason, it kind of seems like Sonic has, like, lightning power, because, like...
Well, because they're treating him like the Flash here.
Well, also, Eggman's got one of his spines and, like, sticks it to his tongue and is like... Bzzz.
Yeah.
So, something absolutely, like, literally electrifying about Sonic, and I don't understand that. Are we gonna see Chaos Emeralds? Are we gonna see them trying to save woodland creatures? I don't know, because Sonic is talking about saving the planet like he's an alien, and I don't understand that part either. I don't understand why it needs to be in San Francisco.
And then there's this little tease here where we actually see end of the movie, from what we've been told, that Jim Carrey will end up looking like Robotnik Eggman proper by the end of the movie, which I'm okay with.
Sure.
If you want to say that he got crazier, okay, fine. I want to see Jim Carrey go crazy again. You know, give me some, like, The Mask, Ace Ventura levels of Jim Carrey. Fine. Now, of course, everybody's got a problem with the way Sonic looks. People immediately got on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook and said, this is a problem. Memes were made, things were said. People preferred the melted ice cream to the way this looks.
I don't understand. His hands, why are his hands white if they're not gloves?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I don't.
So
why would they give him shoes, but they don't bother with making his hands gloved? Well, why? What?
So we got a response from the higher-ups. This is specifically from Jeff Fowler, who's there working for Paramount, about the status of Sonic's look. And I quote, "Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes, it's going to happen. Everyone in Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be." Basically saying we will go ahead and redesign Sonic.
And, like, that's fine and all, but you should have listened to people when they were screaming it when they first saw this getting teased. Thank you, Gumsy, for the subscription. Super appreciate that. Gotta go redesign, I know.
Gotta go redesign.
And you've subscribed several times before in the past, so I appreciate you continuing to
stuff
do
flew
so.
out the cup.
Oh, my bits. Well, one of them got back in, yay!
Alright. So the thing of it is, like, I appreciate that this is where the internet is. People complained, this looks like crap. And then the immediate response to, we're going to redesign this is, so are you going to push back the date? Because we don't know, we don't want to know that you're going to
overwork your
overtime
animators.
on all of your animators and CG artists to try and push this thing out for its original intended air date, because that would be inhuman.
And like Paramount, this isn't the first time Paramount's made some like wacky CG decisions either.
Little movie called Transformers.
First Transformers film was like, why do these look like just hunks of metal and not like characters? That was a weird decision. What other movie did we say like had that problem? I feel like we said Paramount has made a similar animation problem before.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the other, because we just talked about this yesterday.
We just talked about this between the two of us. This seems to be a reoccurring. Was there some other news of some other movie? It was some other news. I don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
All I know is whoever is running Paramount's animation needs to take a step back for a second. We need to replace this guy. Whoever is in control of character design, they need to stop.
Or whoever's greenlighting character design, I guess.
Somebody else needs to take a step in. Yeah.
Because the thing of it is, if I'm not really paying attention, yeah, I could almost buy it. But that's presuming that I know nothing about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sure.
And the thing about it is, at this point, like, he's up there, like, it goes Mario, I think Yoshi, Sonic, as far as recognizable.
You think Yoshi's more recognizable than Sonic?
Surprisingly.
You think that, or did you see that somewhere? Was that in a poll somewhere?
That's just me noticing who's carrying what backpack since we live around school areas.
All right.
But maybe that's just Nintendo selling more Yoshi merch.
I mean, Nintendo, I think at this point, is obviously doing way better with their first-party IPs than Sega is with Sonic. Sonic has not had a fantastic track record as far as their games and other such things for a while now. It's kind of been second tier for a while now.
And the thing of it is, like, we all want good Sonic products.
Yeah,
We've been saying, like, every so often we get something. Mm-hmm. We get this most recent Sonic game. We get the cartoon Sonic Boom.
People slept on Sonic Boom. What a travesty. Just because, now mind you, when the Sonic Boom game came out, everyone was pissed. You remember when we did the cartoon intro sing-along at MagFest, and we played the opening to the Sonic Boom cartoon, and everybody booed, but that's because what they were booing was the game, not the cartoon, and only like a couple of years later, people were like, oh my god, Sonic Boom's really good, and now I want to go back and shake everybody in that room at MagFest and be like, it was good!
That's why it got canceled, you didn't watch! And, you know, that was fine, but the thing of it is, like, a lot of this here, like, I see the bones of what could be a good Sonic movie. You just gotta change a couple of things about the plot, and how the rings work, and Sonic's face.
I mean, everyone's making this comparison to Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah, because it's the whole...
No, well, it's the same thing we were kids at the time Mario Brothers
93.
It was 1993. We were in elementary school at the time. Now, you have to figure, see, at the time, I liked that movie. Why? One, sure, because I was a kid, but also at the same time, think about it. Like, they're gonna try and say, oh, kids are just gonna like it because kids don't know anything. But I don't think that's true, because we didn't have other video game movies when Mario Brothers came out.
No, we didn't.
We didn't have Street Fighter yet.
That was not for another year.
We didn't have Mortal Kombat yet.
Not for another 2 years.
And like, even...
Double Dragon we didn't get for another 2 years, I don't think.
Yeah, I still think it'd be a while. So, like, Mario Brothers, you think about how bad it is. I remember I liked it purely based on the fact that it was a video game movie at all, and we didn't have anything else.
Because I'll tell you what it was. The marketing was good, because before I even saw the movie, they were selling the action figures for the Super Mario Brothers movie. I bought the action, or my mom bought the action figures for me, and I had Luigi and Mario. I had them there. And then I saw the movie, and I was like, oh. And then, honestly, I stopped playing with them because I didn't like the movie. Like, that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Which was not the case for Street Fighter, because I rented the hell out of Street Fighter.
Street Fighter was hammy,
But you could at least enjoy it as being hammy.
Also, you can tell where Street Fighter is in that movie to a point. Like, there's things where you can be like, it's kind of goofy interpretation of it, but yeah, that's given what we know about Street Fighter up to the year 1994. That's about right. And
it's like at the end, it's like, wait, why is Kylie Minogue not wearing pants anymore? But she looks accurate, so okay.
And then
Mortal Kombat.
And then Mortal Kombat might be one of the best video game movies we've had
up until we get Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Because we're already getting the early reviews saying it's solid.
I don't know. Some people I'm hearing mixed things.
I'm hearing positive things.
I heard a lot of positive, but some mixed.
But that's still better than, say, Assassin's Creed.
Also better than Mario Brothers.
Also better than Warcraft.
Better than Warcraft. Probably better than Tomb Raider, even though I didn't dislike this most recent Tomb Raider, I should specify.
I like this most recent Tomb Raider. It was solid.
People were just bored.
We don't talk about The Legend of Chun-Li, though.
F The Legend of Chun-Li, okay? They can't
because that's where Neil McDonough plays not Bison.
They can't pronounce Shadaloo.
Shadaloo.
They can't pronounce Ryu. It's your own franchise. Pronounce Ryu. It's not a Y. It's not a Ryu. You should know this by now. You worked with Capcom. There's a Japanese company. It's the word for dragon. You pronounce it Ryu. It's not hard.
So anyway, we've got this movie coming out. We don't know how the redesign's gonna look, but hopefully it's better than this. People are hoping, there's the bridge between Sonic's eyes, like we're used to. Because remember, he's not a real hedgehog. Don't try to make him look like a real hedgehog.
They're trying to talk about him like he's some kind of an alien, but they want to give him realistic human legs and eyes and teeth. Why do they want
calves? He has calves. I don't actually need Sonic to have calves. I get the redesign for Boom that you made him lankier like a runner. I could get around that.
He still looked like a cartoon, though.
But he was still a cartoon. Because it was a cartoon! So, yeah, probably Eggman's going to be the best part of this movie. I imagine we're going to get a lot of memes out of that. Good memes out of Jim Carrey.
I hope so.
But as far as Sonic goes, I don't even know.
Somebody save this poor hedgehog.
We need somebody to save Sonic.
This franchise needs help bad, you guys. This franchise needs help bad. We gotta move on.
Okay, we gotta move on.
We've gotta move on.
So, moving on to this last section, we will do our best to not spoil anything for the benefit.
Another day left on the quote-unquote official don't spoil the Endgame.
So we will talk around stuff, and then we may or may not address things in the post-show. That having been said, holy cow, look how much money it made.
Couple of billion.
2.
That's a couple.
That's a couple
billion. In 1 week? In 1 week.
In just over a week.
That's ludicrous. Number 2 movie of all time currently.
Yeah, because it just displaced Titanic.
Yeah.
It just passed Titanic, and it's coming for Avatar. And the thing about it is, I appreciate how everybody's so quick to understand that in all this time, even if it's the #1 highest grossing box office movie of all time, Avatar left no imprint on the culture.
It really didn't. They tried to say that they tried to move fast on, we gotta get an Avatar land into one of our theme parks, and then they put it in there, and I never hear anyone talk about Avatar land ever. And they keep saying, we've got 3 more movies coming.
No, 4 more movies.
Oh, excuse me, 4 more movies. Who is still excited about it? We've talked about this before.
Jim Cameron's
Only
still excited.
James Cameron is excited about more Avatar movies. He should have struck while the iron was hot. He should have just been all right, I'll get on the next one. The way that you usually make movies and release them in a timely fashion, not I'm gonna release one and in a few more months release another one and in a few more months release another one.
And
Nobody cares.
And I get that there's a technology thing that he's working on, and we've seen some of that pay off with Alita Battle Angel, and that was good, but you're trying to build something out of nothing. This got to $2 billion in a little over a week because you were building
for years,
over a decade, building these ideas.
They had a plan, all right?
Clearly. Anybody who was talking any sort of mess about them almost 2.2 billion says shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they won. They won all the things.
Yeah. Like, we were talking about when we were about to go and sit down in the theater for Endgame, we said the only other thing to get excited about to this level of hype is Star Wars, and now, if I'm to be honest with you, like, I never thought something else would generate hype like Star Wars. Marvel did it. They generated Star Wars hype and possibly even surpassed it. I don't know if anybody's gonna be this excited about Episode 9. I really don't.
Well, because I
think people might be so burned out on Star Wars and left in such a kind of a post-Endgame depression that we're not excited for anything else. I'm concerned about Spider-Man. Not because I think it's going to be a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be super entertaining. But I don't think anybody will ever be as excited about a movie ever again. It's not going to happen. I don't know what else would make people this excited ever again.
I don't even know, because you would imagine in our minds as kids, the movies you wish you got to see. Mm-hmm. Avengers was one of them. Justice League was the other one. And then Justice League didn't happen. Like, it should have been on some level like this, and we never got that.
No, because
not even
DC,
close.
Warner Brothers,
they fumbled the ball, and then they dropped the ball.
They the bed.
And then they lit the ball on fire, and then they sold the ball for crack, and then that's what happened.
Oh, so sad.
So, to not really get into spoilers, one thing that's definitely going to get said about this movie is, yes, we are literally watching. We are so fortunate to be alive to watch a cultural time stone, whatever you want to call it. I say that because the movie,
like a time capsule, like
we are lucky to be alive to witness this.
Oh yeah, I get that.
To be in that 11-year gap where we get to see a guy building a suit in a cave with a box of scraps to potentially the highest grossing movie of all time in record time. And it's not just based off hype alone.
Sure.
It's the fact that the movie delivers. It's the fact that there are some beautiful endings. Yeah, it's a milestone for cinema because nobody else has ever done something like this.
Right,
Star Wars is as close as you get.
Yeah.
Of you're trying to weave this narrative together over time.
Over generations.
But the thing about it, we're talking about, 3 sets of 3 with Star Wars and then a few spin-offs. Here, we're talking about straight on, no gaps.
They treated it like a comic narrative.
Yes.
They treated it like your trade paperback comic books where you're like, oh, what happens in the next issue, in the next volume, and then there's other authors who are working on other heroes, and they occasionally go and they talk to the other heroes in the other comics over here. That's exactly what the movies did. They delivered a comic narrative in cinematic format.
And the thing about it was, this movie is predicated on you watching the other 21 movies. And people
did it, without question. Usually when you say, oh, you gotta watch all these other movies first to understand it, people are just like, oh, I don't want to have to bother with that. People wanted to bother with this. People set aside so much time, 2 or 3 days at a time, to sit and marathon all the other movies ahead of it. Oh, thank you, Snow Golem Kirby. Thank you for the cheer. I really appreciate that.
And the thing of it is, it's not just a matter of it's going into your head again.
Oh, it is going.
Yes, we're taking the time out to do this. Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Imprinted into my brain.
I like how that works. The thing of it is, there's some beautiful story here. Perfect casting, I would say, when it comes to this. And I don't believe this is a spoiler to say, because we've been talking about it before and going into and after. Robert Downey Jr. deserves some kind of a nomination for his work in this. Because you remember how it was with Lord of the Rings, that they didn't win anything until Return of the King came out. That's what I think it should be here for Robert. Basically being there at the foundation with Iron Man, and then going here into Endgame. The things they do with his character are nothing short of amazing.
Sure.
And you see all of the heart and you see all of the time put in. And the thing about it is, anybody who's talking to you guys about this movie that you need to see the other movies, you need to see the other movies because there are payoffs and references and things like, oh, I forgot about that. You remembered that. Mm-hmm. You reminded me that I knew that.
And it wasn't just a reference. Like, I remember when we got Star Wars The Force Awakens and people were just like, oh, they're making a bunch of goofy references. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you think it's cool, you think it's funny. But then other people were like, yeah, but they're just saying it just to say it. It was too self-referential. Whereas in Endgame, I feel like the references, they're, just like you said, they're more like payoffs than they are just references. They amounted to something. Yes. They meant something. Yeah.
And we can at least say that. I'll agree with you, movie Brett. Open weeping throughout this movie at multiple parts.
Sure.
Definitely at the end for that last hour, but just it's that emotional buildup because by this point, 10 years invested, you know these people. Mm-hmm. They're not just Sebastian Stan or Anthony Mackie or Chris Hemsworth in a suit. That's Bucky, that's Sam, that's Thor. You know these guys. Mm-hmm. You've been with them. You've been riding with them for a long time, and now you want to see where they've gotten to and where they're going to go next. And the thing of it is, like, there are some moments that I dare say you will never get that kind of hype just from scenes. Because I said, I am hoping going into this that we will see something that will rival the way I felt just seeing 6 characters together in the Avengers in 2012. They did it.
Yeah.
And then they took it to Infinity War and then beyond, and then they brought us here. Because some of this stuff, it looked like art.
Sure.
Like that needs to be up in the Guggenheim. That's how good this is framed.
That's part of people arguing that film is art too.
I dare say it is after this.
Well, I mean, I say film is always art, but I think you can make a very strong argument out of this, and usually hero films, comic films, do not get that kind of praise, the kind of praise that they deserve. I'm so glad this past year, like Black Panther and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse got some recognition, some awards, nominations, and actually got awards, and I can only hope that that would mean that by them setting that precedent, that Endgame is going to be awarded with something, because this has affected culture and actual human beings that actually live in this world.
Because generally we're a nerd-based show, but we're not talking about nerd culture anymore. We're talking about culture.
Well, I think this begs the argument that, and we've talked about this a few times, mind you, the name of our show, Beyond the Black Rims.
Yes.
There is an idea that nerd culture is just the black rim glasses, the pocket protectors, suspenders, and high-waisted pants, whatever. And I feel like that stereotype has way outlived itself, and that nerd culture is just part of what culture is. It's pop culture.
It's pop culture
nerd
now because
culture is pop culture.
That's how you explain $2.2 billion at the box office. That's how you explain D&D is at heights that people are openly talking about, hey, we're putting groups together. This is why you have people at bars watching the finale season of Game of Thrones.
This movie is prime example of why we named our show what we named our show.
Exactly.
This is it. Endgame is the reason why. Oh, thank you for punctuating that for us, Cartoon Kelly. Appreciate it.
Because the thing of it is, once you get past all of these different things, like, oh, this is a comic book. No, you don't care. It's a comic book. It's a story.
Yeah.
About people with flaws and people using those flaws to come together. That's the whole crux of Guardians of the Galaxy. You go into this and it's like overall the movie deals with how to deal with the thing. I think Kevin Smith said it the best. It's how you deal with the things you wish you had gotten to say to people. You know, the chance to tell people how you feel about them, about passing on, about endings.
Sure.
And it handles that so deftly well. Like, I don't know that I've seen very many movies that... It's one thing to have all these years of setup, but then they stick the landing.
Yeah, for sure.
They got the superhero landing. And like you were just mentioning about Black Panther, the Academy had to take notice. They had to give him something, at least the nomination. You can't ignore over $2
billion in a little over a week. Yeah. There's no ignoring
in 9
that.
days.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that. And then that's the thing. That's with already people watching this movie multiple times. Some people that we've talked to say they've already seen it 5 times. I have yet to see it a second time, and I need to.
Right. We still want to do that IMAX, yeah.
And some people are still waiting to go see it now.
Yeah.
Because theaters are running this mess at all hours.
Some of them were doing it 24/7 for the first week, yeah.
And, I know we're running out of time here, but I need to take a moment.
We're overtime even, yeah.
Well, no, because we started a tiny bit late.
Not this late.
So I just want to take a second out here. Thank you to all of the people working the theaters. You guys are the real heroes.
I have worked a movie theater before. That sucks. And to have to work it for 24/7, that's insane. You have to deal with actual human beings, and human beings are sometimes terrible. So I'm sorry, but thank you. People do appreciate what you do, even if they don't know that they appreciate what you do, and they don't act like they appreciate what you do. We appreciate what you do.
We appreciate what you do. We made sure to clean up all our crap.
Oh yeah, our stuff's in the trash where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because we know you guys are there, working the hours, putting in the time. You guys feel like you're going to fade away into dust. But y'all kept with it, and some of you still are. Thank you.
Right.
You guys...
done did it.
You done did it. And I guess all of us here, I imagine most of us here have seen it or have plans to see it. Go see it again. It's amazing. I don't know that you'll ever see something like this
culturally. Like, you have
again.
Take it in as part of the culture just to understand.
Like, this is the thing. A generation later, people will ask, "What was it like to see Endgame?" Like, what? Like I'll say for myself, I have never been more vocal at a movie theater during a showing, and I don't know that I ever will be again. It was amazing.
Yeah. See it.
Yeah.
Okay, we should stop.
Yeah, we're gonna stop.
Okay.
So thank you guys for coming out and seeing this. We got one more episode in the season. And hopefully that's next week.
I hope
we had to take the week off last week because processing all of Endgame
was kind of nuts.
It was too easy for people to want to potentially post spoilers. Thank you guys for all being good tonight.
Yeah.
Nobody's been a jerk or anything.
Super appreciate it. We took the chat down for a little bit and then realized everything's fine. So
yeah, nobody's gonna post anything.
Yeah.
So good on that.
I guess that's where we're gonna be wrapping it up for now. Gonna get this posted on YouTube as quickly as possible. Thank you for being out here live with us right now. And if you're not live and you are watching it on YouTube, thank you for checking us out on YouTube. Would be really cool if you came down here next week for our season finale of this show, and then we'll take a small hiatus.
And then we'll be back.
And then we'll be back for season 10. Oh,
yeah.
Man, that's exciting. But yeah, come down here next weekend. If you follow us over here on twitch.tv/MarsGirl, you'll get the notifications when we go live. Get to hang out with all these cool people right here in the chat. And we're about to go into another half an hour of Q&A that otherwise, if you're watching it on YouTube, you will never get to see and participate in that Q&A. So please, come be with us.
Yes, and of course during the week you can always chat with us over on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
That having been said, that's been tonight's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys again next episode.
Thank you, everybody.